Hello, Joy friends, and welcome to Once Upon a Storybook. My name is Cynthia with Cynthia's Joyful Creations, and today we are going to look at really the final angel story in the book In the Arms of Angels by Joan Wester Anderson. We will have one more week of our angel stories because we will have a story from the epilogue that I will do at the very end. So we have one more week of these angel stories after this week. Today's angel story is titled Angel of Healing. For certain things are not refused us, but their granting is delayed to a fitting time. And that was said by St. Augustine. Steve Hooper of Brentwood, Tennessee, had a routine physical examination every year during all the years he worked for the Vanderbilt University and when he and his dad opened a small business. He felt he owed it to his wife, children, and business partner to be as healthy as possible. Every year, in addition to the normal middle-aged man's high blood pressure, the doctor always said my liver enzymes were not what they should be. But he never went any further than that, no extra test or anything, because his physician didn't seem concerned, so Steve didn't worry either. Eventually, Steve's doctor retired, and about a year later, Steve applied for a new health insurance and was required to give blood samples. In a few weeks, I received notice that my application had been turned down due to the blood results. He immediately made an appointment with a young doctor at a nearby hospital. You have hemochromatosis, the doctor told him. I have what? Steve had never heard of such a thing. Simply put, it's iron overload, too much iron in your blood, the doctor explained. A normal person's iron count is in the 50 to 200 range. Your count is 1,620. Steve was astonished. He thought it was taking good care of himself, but this sounded ominous. In addition to eliminating iron-rich foods from his diet, Steve would need a phlebotomy every 2 weeks. This is simply a removal of a pint of your blood until the iron count comes down, the doctor explained. Well, what happens if I don't get the treatment? Steve asked. Early cancer, a heart attack, or liver damage, the doctor shook his head. Right now your liver is in good shape, but Steve understood. He went home to tell his wife Penny. I was concerned but not really upset, Steve says. As a faithful Methodist active in the Mirage Church activities, I'm a firm believer that nothing happens by chance. God always has a purpose for everything in our lives, whether or not we understand it. Steve was ready for anything that came. In April, his treatments began. They could last for 2 or 3 years, he was told, depending on how quickly the excess iron was removed. However, by July, his blood count had actually increased to 2,250. This was not unusual, his doctor explained. Sometimes the organs actually made more iron to replace what was being removed. He increased the phlebotomies to 1 each week. What had started as a simple procedure, however, gradually became painful. Steve began to dread his appointments. By Christmas, the discomfort in Steve's arms was intolerable, and he was unable to sleep for any length of time. I would wake up in agony, spend hours in prayer begging God to help me. At about this time, Steve's dog, Socks, began to have convulsions at night, and the vet didn't know why. One night, Steve awakened from the sharp stabs of pain, took care of Socks, and then began to pray while Penny slept. He was concerned about his upcoming January blood test. What if he had a high count again? What would he do? And where was God? Although he prayed constantly, no answers or explanations seemed to be coming his way. Then Steve looked around. Something was happening. It started as a faint glow, he says. Slowly it got brighter. Then the bedroom was bathed in this dazzling white light. The light did not seem to be coming from any particular place, but from all directions at once. It was beautiful yet frightening. He glanced at Penny, who was sleeping soundly. What should he do? Then at the foot of his bed a figure emerged. It felt masculine, although I could not make out any facial features, Steve says. He was about 7 feet tall and glowing somehow within the glow. The figure wore a white robe and had a pair of very obvious wings on his back. The wings extended about a foot above his head, almost touching the ceiling. It was an angel visiting him. The love within the room was almost touchable. Steve felt a warm sensation flowing into his feet and moving gently up the length of his body. As he lay motionless in bed, not an outer warmth, but inner, as if the light itself had entered my body. The light was filled with peace and concern, love and healing. Awestruck, Steve gazed at the apparition. "I am the angel of compassion," the figure informed him, not in speech or human language, but in a form of telepathy, an inexplicable knowing. Comfort seemed to radiate from the angel. He conveyed other information too, but Steve could not comprehend it. What he did understand was that he was not to be anxious. His upcoming blood tests were going to show some surprising results. Gradually the figure and the light faded. Steve had no idea how much time had elapsed, but his arm no longer ached. He fell into a deep, trouble-free sleep. As soon as Steve awoke the next morning, he asked Penny whether she had seen or felt the white light that had visited their bedroom. She had not, and she didn't know what to think of my wild, excited babbling. But during the next month, all of Steve's painful symptoms disappeared. The blood test results were indeed unexpected. Steve had gone from a count of 2,215 to 17. This was actually too low, and Steve's surprised doctor revised his phlebotomy schedule from once a week to once a month. "This is truly a miracle," the doctor said. "I've never seen a condition like this change so quickly. This should have taken a few years at least." Sock's convulsions ended the same day, never to return. Was the dog's illness a form of sympathy for Steve? He'll never know. Today, Steve continues to enjoy good health. He has a treatment once every 6 weeks, and that seems adequate. He has no pain and is able to do anything he needs to do. I am a firm believer that each of us is given a guardian angel at conception, and that he is with us until the day we're called into heaven, Steve says. "I don't know why I was given the opportunity to look into the face of mine, but I feel led to tell others that God so loves and cares for us that he sent his son and angels to live among us, in body and spirit." What a great gift. What a great gift indeed. Well, thank you for joining me for Once Upon a Storybook. I look forward to meeting with you again next time as we finish out our book and as we pray about whether or not story time will continue, and if so, what those stories will be about. Well, until next time, be joyful, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.